This fourth scene between Karla and Jill is a thoughtful and surprisingly tender portrait of two women revisiting their shared past, and it unfolds like a mix of nostalgia, confession, and rediscovery that many LGBTQ people will instantly recognize. It begins with a reflective voiceover or internal monologue from Karla, describing how she once hated Jill, then forgot about her after their breakup, and then one day received a friend request that brought all those buried memories back. Right away, this sets a mood of looking back with adult eyes at a youthful or formative relationship, something many women, queer or not, have experienced. Karla admits she was strangely excited about reconnecting without initially knowing why, foreshadowing that she still has feelings for Jill, or at least unresolved emotions from their past. The small talk that follows their meeting feels authentic. They are polite, smiling, and apologizing over each other's words, showing the awkwardness of two people who share a history but haven't seen each other in years. When they reminisce about their childhood superhero games, complete with playful tying-up scenarios, it signals the deep intimacy and shared imagination they once had, even as kids. This part also lightly hints at how childhood friendships can contain early stirrings of identity, especially for people who later realize they are queer. They both reflect on their weirdness and their crazy-ass parents, which grounds their bond in shared struggle. The moment they drink to that and say cheers is a subtle ritual of reconnection, marking their transition from strangers with history back into companions. The dialogue moves gradually from nostalgia to confession. Jill apologizes for not keeping in touch, and Karla admits she thought about Jill a lot, missed her, and hoped she'd come back for another chance. That's a potent moment for anyone who's had a formative friendship end abruptly and then wondered about the other person for years. When Karla says better late than never, the line resonates far beyond their personal story. It echoes the idea that self-discovery, reconciliation, and queer identity can emerge later in life and still be beautiful. Their conversation about relationships reveals their parallel journeys. Neither is married, and both have had serious relationships with women. The casual way they reveal their sexuality, "My last two relationships were with women, we were just two little lesbians growing up," is powerful because it normalizes the idea that they can share this without shame. This resonates with LGBTQ viewers who know the relief of finally speaking openly about who they are, especially to someone from their past who shares the experience. The suggestion that their childhood fights may have been a projection of self-loathing is a self-aware and psychologically astute comment on how internalized homophobia or confusion about identity can manifest as antagonism. This is a detail many lesbians and bisexual women will relate to, having conflicted feelings about a same-gender friend or rival because of unrecognized attraction or self-doubt. The confession scene is pivotal. Karla or Jill, the script leaves a little ambiguity, says, "I guess I'm feeling a little more than towards you," essentially, admitting that the old feelings or new ones have surfaced. The other responds, "Which is it? Can you tell me?" capturing at nervous but excited energy when mutual attraction becomes undeniable. The "I love you" at the end closes the loop of their long estrangement with a note of reconciliation and romantic possibility. Importantly, this is done without overt sexualization. It's about emotional reconnection, self-understanding, and a bond that has matured over time. Lesbians watching this will relate strongly to several elements. First, the reunion trope. It's common in real life for queer women to reconnect with someone from their youth and realize there were feelings all along. Second, the casual talk about past girlfriends normalizes queer experience and creates a sense of recognition. Third, the idea of rediscovering love or attraction later in life resonates with LGBTQ people who often have delayed coming out journeys or who revisit old friendships with new self-knowledge. Women in general, regardless of orientation, can relate to the nostalgia of seeing someone from the past and realizing that time has softened old resentments. The scene also touches on a universal theme, how we often project our own insecurities onto others when we're young, only to realize years later what was really going on. The question, "Why does society hate seeing two girls in love?" is addressed implicitly in this scene's gentle, matter-of-fact tone. Historically, women's relationships have been minimized or fetishized in mainstream media. Two women reconnecting emotionally and possibly romantically after years apart challenges the conventional storyline, where a woman must find closure through a man. By showing them as fully realized adults who can openly discuss their sexuality and past relationships, the scene normalizes female-female love without sensationalism. This counters patriarchal discomfort with women's autonomy over their own desire. The characters' openness and lack of shame are themselves acts of quiet resistance. Regarding, should women leave their men for girl best friends? The scene again offers nuance rather than prescription. It does not show Karla or Jill leaving men for each other. Instead, it shows them both having had lives, relationships, and heartbreaks, then reconnecting later as changed individuals. The message isn't that women should do one thing or another, it's that authentic connection sometimes appears in unexpected places, and that self-awareness can lead to re-evaluating past dynamics. This reflects a broader LGBTQ theme. Once freed from compulsory heterosexuality, people can re-examine their past relationships with clarity and compassion. This scene also illustrates the power of forgiveness and growth. Karla admits she couldn't even remember why she hated Jill so much. This mirrors the process many queer people go through when they look back at younger versions of themselves, realizing that what felt like animosity may have been confusion or attraction. Jill and Karla are able to laugh about their superhero games and their weirdness, reclaiming those memories with affection rather than shame. This reclamation is a subtle but important piece of LGBTQ healing, reframing childhood experiences not as aberrations but as early signs of identity and connection. Another significant detail is how the script handles their mutual coming out in adulthood. They don't make a big spectacle of it, they just mention their past relationships with women, and it lands naturally. This reflects a newer wave of queer representation, where being LGBTQ is not a crisis or a twist, but simply part of life. For viewers, especially younger ones, this can be affirming, showing that two women can meet after years apart and discuss their identities openly, without fear or stigma. The mutual curiosity, could that be why we always fought? Acknowledges how internalized societal pressures can warp friendships and budding attractions. It's a recognition that their past behavior was influenced by the social context of their youth. This invites viewers to consider how much of our behavior toward others is shaped by unacknowledged feelings and societal messages about what's acceptable. For LGBTQ audiences, it's a chance to see that they're not alone in having complicated relationships with same-gender friends growing up. In terms of women's experience more broadly, this scene resonates as a story of emotional labor and delayed self-realization. Many women find themselves years into adulthood, rethinking their youth, friendships, and the people who mattered most to them. This is part of a larger cultural shift toward valuing emotional intimacy and authenticity over appearances. Karla and Jill's reconnection models that shift, showing two women who can be vulnerable with each other as adults, admit past mistakes, and still open the door to something new. The "I love you" at the end is both literal and symbolic. It could signal a romantic restart, or it could be the first honest expression of affection after years of suppression. Either way, it's a healing moment that closes the gap between who they were and who they are now. The choice to end on that line reinforces the theme of rediscovery and courage. Finally, the title of the previous scene, Better Late Than Never, and this one's closing line tie together a theme across these stories: queer love and self-understanding may not follow a linear path, but it can bloom at any time. This is an especially important message for LGBTQ people who fear they have missed their chance or wasted years in heteronormative roles. The scene tells them it's not too late to reconnect with themselves or with someone from their past. In sum, Scene 4 with Karla and Jill is a layered exploration of memory, identity, and the enduring pull of first loves or first intense friendships. It validates the experiences of lesbians and bisexual women who have had similar journeys, but it also speaks to all women about the power of forgiveness, reconnection, and self-discovery. By presenting two adult women openly acknowledging their sexuality, reflecting on their shared childhood, and confessing renewed feelings without shame, the scene challenges the cultural discomfort with female-female love and reframes it as natural and deeply human. It doesn't tell women to leave men for their best friends, but rather to honor authenticity, to recognize that deep bonds can transform over time, and that self-awareness can lead to new beginnings. For LGBTQ audiences especially, it's a reminder that even after years of distance, the possibility of love, closure, or rediscovery remains open. Indeed, better late than never.